The silence was wrong. There was no sound of victory, no celebration, just stillness, giants, armored beings, creatures that moments ago were considered unstoppable, now scattered across the arena. Some were still moving, others weren't. And at the center of it, a human, breathing heavily, body shaking and barely holding on, but still standing. "That's not possible," the voice echoed through the observation chamber. On the other side of the glass, dozens of species watched, all silent, all trying to understand the same thing. How was that thing still alive? Confirm the reading. I already did, 3 times. Then it's wrong. It's not. Pause. It's human. One of them leaned forward, eyes locked on the arena. Run a full genetic scan. Already done. And no modifications. Silence. That makes no sense. Down below, the human took a step, just one, and almost collapsed. He shouldn't have passed the first phase. He shouldn't even be in this test. They're level 0. Below that, another competitor dropped behind him. A creature that minutes ago had dominated multiple opponents alone, now motionless, defeated by him. The human took a deep breath, looked around, confused, like he didn't even understand what was happening. And maybe he didn't. How many are left? None. Say that again. None. He's the last one. Absolute silence. Not confusion. Something worse. Realization. This shouldn't be happening. And it shouldn't, because according to every record, every simulation, every prediction, humans were the weakest species ever documented. No strength, no resilience, no evolutionary advantage worth noting. So the question was no longer who would win the test. The question was something else, something far more dangerous. What did they get wrong about humans? Because this wasn't luck. And the worst part? It was only the beginning. They had a system for everything, every species, every civilization, every possible outcome. Nothing was random. For centuries, maybe longer, the coalition had been observing life across the galaxy, measuring it, ranking it, deciding what it was worth. Strength, intelligence, adaptability, endurance. Each species was reduced to numbers, clean, predictable, controlled. And based on those numbers, they created the trials, a controlled environment, designed to answer one simple question: which species deserved to rise and which ones would be left behind. Most never made it past evaluation, some weren't even considered. And then there were humans. Species designation, Sol 3 natives. Classification, primitive. Technological level, inconsistent. Physical capacity, below galactic average. Pause. Overall ranking, insignificant. No one argued. Why would they? Humans were fragile, slower than most, weaker than almost everything. No natural weapons, no armor, no enhanced senses. On paper, they were a mistake. They won't survive the first phase. That's optimistic. Why were they even approved? A shift in the data screen, a small flag, almost ignored. Exception noted. Silence. What exception? The system hesitated, just for a fraction of a second. Inconclusive variable. That got their attention. Inconclusive. That's not a valid classification. It is now. More data poured in, fragmented, contradictory. Survival records that didn't match projections, behavioral patterns that broke predictive models, extreme condition endurance, marked as statistical anomalies. This has to be an error. It's consistent. That's worse, because consistency meant one thing: it wasn't a glitch. It was real. They shouldn't pass. They won't. They can't. And yet, they did. Not by dominance, not by superiority, but by something else. Something the system couldn't measure. They're in. That single sentence shifted the room, then marked them for early elimination. Already done. Confidence returned, order restored, because the system had never been wrong, not once. Every species followed patterns, every outcome could be predicted. And humans, they would be no different, right? Down in the arena, the human took another step, slower this time. He almost dropped to one knee, but didn't. Up above, no one spoke anymore, because for the first time, the system wasn't giving answers. It was asking a question. What if we miscalculated? And if they did, then this wasn't just a test anymore. It was a mistake. The second phase was never meant to be survived, not completely. It wasn't a test of strength or intelligence. It was a test of limits. The environment shifted without warning. The arena changed. Gravity increased, slow at first, then heavier and heavier. Structures collapsed, metal bent, creatures built for power dropped to their knees. This is within expected parameters. Barely. Monitor stress thresholds. One by one, they started failing. A towering species known for its physical dominance collapsed. Its frame simply couldn't support the load. Another, engineered for endurance, stopped moving entirely. Systems overloaded. This phase is proceeding normally. Casualties? 70% and rising. No one was surprised. This was how it always went. Until... Wait, a pause. Zoom in. The display shifted, locked onto one figure. The human, still standing. That's not possible. He should have failed first. Check his vitals. Numbers flickered across the screen, unstable, erratic, but not dropping. He's beyond safe limits. Then why is he still moving? Down below, the human adjusted his stance, feet dragging slightly against the ground. Every movement slower than before, but deliberate. He wasn't resisting the pressure. He was adapting to it. That's not adaptation. It is. No species adapts this fast. Another wave hit. Gravity spiked again, harder, sudden. Several remaining competitors collapsed instantly. The human dropped to one knee. There it is. He's done. A second passed, then another. The human's head lowered. His arms trembled. Everything about him said it was over. And then he exhaled, slow, controlled, and pushed himself back up. Silence. No, that's not... No. He adjusted again. That's impossible, because this wasn't evolution. It wasn't genetic advantage. It was happening in real time. Run predictive modeling. Already did. And he should be down, but he wasn't. The pressure kept increasing. Every step became a fight, every movement a decision. Other species had optimized bodies, perfect systems, built for efficiency. The human, he was inefficient, unstable, unpredictable, and somehow still moving forward. He's not conserving energy, he's burning through it. Then why hasn't he stopped? No answer. Because the system didn't have one. Another spike. Even the observers felt it through the structure. The arena groaned, and the human staggered. This time he didn't catch himself. He hit the ground. There, finally. No one spoke. They just watched. Seconds passed. Nothing. Mark him as eliminated. A pause. Wait. A finger pointed at the screen. Movement. Small. Barely noticeable. The human's hand shifted. Then his arm. Then he pushed. Slow. Painfully slow. But undeniable. He got back up. Silence. Total. That's not survival. No, that's something else. Because at this point, it wasn't about capability anymore. It was about refusal. The system recalculated again and again and again. Every result came back the same. Failure. And yet, he was still there. Still moving. Still refusing to stop. Up in the observation chamber, no one looked confident anymore. Because this wasn't just unexpected. It was wrong. And if this phase didn't break him, then the next one would have to. Because the next phase was designed for something far worse than pressure. If pressure didn't break them, this would. The arena shifted again. But this time, it didn't get heavier. It got smarter. Walls reconfigured, paths disappeared, the ground itself began to move. This phase initiates adaptive conflict. Define adaptive. It learns. Silence. It learns from what? From them. That changed everything. Because now, it wasn't just a test, it was an opponent. Creatures that relied on strength charged forward. The arena shifted, trapped them, separated them. Those that relied on speed found themselves funneled into dead ends. Strategists tried to predict patterns. There were none. This environment is reacting in real time. To what? Decision-making, which meant one thing. The better you were, the faster it adapted to stop you. One by one, the strongest began to fall. A high-intelligence species mapped the terrain. The map became useless. A combat-specialized warrior adapted its tactics. The arena countered instantly. They're being read. No, they're being anticipated. And then the human entered the phase. Expectation was simple. He wouldn't last. He lacks processing speed. He lacks combat optimization. He lacks everything required. Down below, the human looked around. No scan, no analysis, just observation. He took a step. The ground shifted. He stopped, tilted his head slightly. What is he doing? Another step. This time, slower. The wall moved. He stepped back, paused, watched. He's not engaging, he's hesitating. No, he's learning, but not like the others. The others tried to understand the system. The human, he tested it. Step forward, reaction. Step back, pause. Again, again, again. He's not solving the environment, he's probing it. And suddenly the arena slowed, not physically, but in response. Because unpredictability was something it wasn't designed for. This doesn't make sense. It does. He's not following optimal behavior, which meant he couldn't be predicted. A trap activated. He didn't avoid it perfectly. He stumbled, adjusted, kept going. Not efficient, but effective. Meanwhile, others tried perfect execution and failed instantly. Why is that working? Because perfection was readable. Mistakes weren't. The human made mistakes, constantly, and each one made him harder to track. That's not strategy. No, it's chaos. And for the first time, chaos was winning. The arena escalated. Faster shifts, more traps, more aggressive reactions. It adapted harder. But the human did something no one expected. He sped up too, not in precision, in instinct. Less thinking, more moving. He stopped trying to win perfectly and started trying to survive. And that changed everything. He's aligning with the system. No, he's outpacing it. Because while the arena needed to process, the human just reacted. A path opened. He took it. A wall shifted. He adjusted. A trap triggered. He endured it. Not clean, not ideal, but enough. More competitors disappeared until only a few remained. And among them, the human, breathing harder now, slower, but still moving. Up above, no one was speaking anymore because something had changed. This wasn't a weak species surviving. This was a system failing to stop it. They're not supposed to get this far. And yet, there he was, still inside the system, still advancing, still unpredictable. And for the first time, they didn't see him as weak. They saw him as a problem, because the next phase wasn't designed to test survival. It was designed to end it. The final phase didn't begin with movement. It began with silence. No shifting walls, no traps, no visible threat, just space. Flat, empty, still. That's it? Where is the test? It already started. Confusion spread through the chamber because this phase didn't attack the body. It attacked everything else. Cognitive pressure rising, emotional disruption detected, neural strain increasing across all remaining subjects. One by one, the last competitors froze. Not from exhaustion, from overload. This phase isolates the mind. Explain. It removes external variables. No enemies, no obstacles, no movement, nothing to react to. Only yourself. And for most species, that was enough. Because without action, there was no function. Without input, there was no response. And without response, they stopped. Completely. They're shutting down. All of them? Almost. The camera shifted, locked on him, the human. Standing alone in the empty field, breathing, slow, heavy. What is he experiencing? Everything. Memories, fear, doubt, fatigue, all at once, unfiltered. This should break him. It breaks all of them. The human staggered. His posture collapsed slightly. No enemy to fight. No direction to move. Nothing to survive against. Just existence. And it was crushing him. This is where it ends. Seconds passed, then more. The human didn't move, didn't react, didn't advance. Mark subject as inactive. A pause. Wait. A flicker. Not in the arena. In him. A shift. Small. Almost invisible. He's not shutting down. No. He was thinking. Not clearly, not efficiently, but persistently. Fragments, memories, voices, everything colliding. And still, he stayed conscious. That's not possible under this load. He should have disconnected already. But humans didn't disconnect. They endured. Messily, painfully, but fully. The pressure increased. Not physically, mentally. Pushing harder. Trying to force silence. Trying to force stillness. Trying to make him stop. The human dropped to one knee. There, it's over. But then, he laughed. Soft, broken, barely audible. What? He's unstable. No, he's resisting. Because where others sought clarity, he accepted the chaos. Where others needed control, he functioned without it. Where others stopped, he continued. Not because he was stronger, but because stopping was never an option. The system pushed harder. Final threshold approaching. Every species before him had failed here. Every single one. This is the limit. The human leaned forward, hands on the ground, breathing uneven. Everything in him said, end. And then he moved, one step, dragging, unstable, but forward, silence. No, another step, slower, but intentional. He shouldn't be able to move, but he did, again and again. Not fast, not clean, but undeniable. He's passing it. He's passing the final phase, because this test didn't measure ability. It measured something else, something the system never quantified. The willingness to continue, even when nothing told you to, even when everything told you to stop. The system ran its final calculation, and for the first time, it didn't return failure. It returned unknown. Up in the chamber, no one spoke, because they understood now. Too late. And this wasn't a species built to win. It was a species that refused to lose, and that was far worse. No one spoke. Not immediately, because what they had just witnessed didn't fit. Not into data, not into models, not into anything they understood. The human stood alone in the arena, still breathing, still conscious, still there. And that was the problem. Run the analysis again. We did. Run it again. Silence. Same result. Say it. A pause. We were wrong. That word echoed heavier than anything before it. Wrong. The system had never been wrong. Not once. Until now. All classifications. Invalid. Recalculate ranking. On what basis? No answer. Because everything they used to measure strength didn't apply anymore. Strength failed. Efficiency failed. Optimization failed. And yet, he didn't. The screens filled with human data. Not clean, not perfect. Messy, contradictory. Survival in unstable climates. Persistence under extreme conditions. Behavior that ignored logical self-preservation. This isn't evolution. It is. It's just inefficient. No. A pause. It's resilient. That word changed everything. Because resilience didn't follow rules. It didn't require perfection. It didn't need control. It only needed one thing: continuation. They survive where they shouldn't. They adapt when they can't. They persist when it makes no sense. And we called that weakness. Silence. Down in the arena, the human looked up. Not at them. Just up. Unaware of the shift happening above. Unaware that everything had changed. They weren't the weakest. No, they were the most dangerous variable, because you could predict strength. You could counter intelligence. You could outmatch perfection, but something that refused to stop, something that kept going, no matter what. That couldn't be modeled, that can't be controlled, and that terrified them. Protocols began to shift. Update classification, new designation, a long pause. No one rushed this time, because now they understood the weight of getting it wrong. Unquantifiable. Add behavioral note. Another pause. Extreme persistence under all conditions. And then, final remark, silence. Before one of them finally said it. Do not underestimate. The system locked the entry. For the first time, humans weren't at the bottom. They weren't even on the scale anymore, because they didn't belong there. They never did. Down below, the human took another step. Tired, unstable, but still moving, just like always. Because for him, this wasn't special. This was normal, and that was what made it terrifying. Black screen, silence. Then, and if you're human, subscribe, leave your like, and comment below. Humanity stands.